RotoGrinders, Dean here, Dean78904. That's the screen name that hopefully is taking down some American dollars on the old Draftkings this evening. A little bit of a late start because it's a 4-gamer. We're still tomorrow. I haven't looked just yet, but I imagine it's going to be a big boy slate, 10, 11, 12 games or so. Yesterday was only 8. Just because those 4 games are getting started a little bit late. But again, thinking you guys straight up the lock. Well, we'll be handing off to the Crunch Time crew around 6:30. Crunch Time this year, if y'all are not aware, it is free. Free Crunch Time, sponsored by Fanduel. You got Andy Means, Kevin Roth will be hosting the deal, and I believe STL Cards will be talking some tournaments. I'm joined today by my Blender. Blender, what's going on, dude? How are things in your world? We have any? We have time for pleasantries? It's a 4-gamer.
We did the 4-game slate. That's why Devin schedules me for the small slates for NBA or anything because if need be, you could argue at movies.
Yeah, we definitely could. We argue on Twitter Spaces every Sunday. The people are not aware. We watch the last hour and a half or so of the football slate and tilt and talk about what's going on. And inevitably we get thrown off, or I probably throw the thing off, argue about movies and things of that sort. And I get mad at you for the things you're watching and the things you're not watching. But I judge people based on that. That's probably my own personal flaw. That's on me.
What out of all the blenders? What's your blender rankings?
Oh, as far as like what you watch, like how much am I judging you?
No, like you do on Twitter, like the best. Right?
Wasn't there a blender on Futurama?
Is there?
I think so. It was not a.
You could use my first. You could my real first name. You could use Jordan's or Cooper's.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I think you're behind at least several Jordans. I'm pretty certain.
I gotta be the number 1 blender though.
Well, no, like I'm sure, like GE makes a fine blender. That's probably ahead of you.
So you're gonna rate an appliance over me?
I mean, an appliance can make me, a drink. Well,
I can make you a drink, Dean. Do you want me to make you a drink? I have Red Bull. I just have to get Jägermeister, and we can have a Jaeger bomb.
Is that what a Jaeger bomb is? Red Bull's in it?
I thought Red Bull and Jägermeister. You're talking to someone that has 4 drinks a year. I have no idea. I believe that's what it is.
Yeah. Red Bull, by the way, when it comes to the quote-unquote like energy drinks, down in the power rankings. I mean, I don't know why it gets a lot of good marketing, very good marketing. It's got wings.
What's wrong with the Red Bull?
Cool can, I'll give it that, but it's not great. It's not great.
None of them are good. None of them. They have poison in it. That's the point. It's supposed to be
poison. It can be delicious though. It's not literal poison, I don't think. We probably can't say that for legal reasons. Well, let's see what the chat has to say.
Poison. Have you looked at what's on the ingredients?
I mean, dude, it's like 19 different. I don't have time for that. I got.
All I know is that the number 1 ingredient is like sugar and caffeine, and like that's all that matters to me.
There's like no calories in them though. If you get the sugar-free ones.
Oh, great! So I can keep my lean figure. Great.
You are looking especially svelte. I didn't want to say. I wasn't sure if that would be inappropriate, but. Let's see at the chat. You got the Rockstar, you got the Red Bull. Bing is kind of a contrarian play, I would say. But yeah, what's up, chat? Kindly hit that like button, do subscribe, and turn on those notifications. Park your keister. Keister, who says that? For the next hour and a half, taking you all straight up to the NBA DFS lock. It's a 4-gamer. It feels like we better be in midseason form, Blender, because it's a 4-gamer. We're right out the gate with game 3, game 4, depending on. Already some studs are sitting, some studs are in, some studs are out. They're playing the hokey pokey. We're looking at USGA. SGA is now questionable. He was out yesterday. OKC is in full-fledged tank zone. They're going to do everything they can to lose as many games. They're also refusing to announce their starters. I'm not sure if you saw that because they think it's a competitive. So
they literally announced that they're not going to announce their starters.
Yes.
Isn't there some rule that they have to?
There's supposed to be. Yeah, we live in a society, but Adam Silver doesn't care. But yeah, there's supposed to be a rule where you're supposed to put your lineups out. But OKC just says we want the competitive advantage, which the irony of ironies, they want to lose.
The competitive advantage to lose.
I'm not making this up. This is what they said. I wish.
Well, the thing just to get to DFS, because it always takes us 7 years to get to the slate. I'm not sure if it matters. Like the I looked at the projections before SGA when we had SGA out of the projections. Yeah, like Trey Mann was okay. Okay for a 4-game slate, he's okay. But like the Thunder are playing like every guy. Yeah, these rotations are like who the hell knows? They may play 12 different guys.
They'll play 12 guys in the first half.
Right.
Yeah.
I think if SGA is in, if he's in, do you project him? I mean, we haven't projected for 34 minutes, but I mean, that may not happen. And if he played 34 minutes, he's okay. He's okay for 8,800 against the Clippers. Fine. But like everyone else gets dinged. Literally everyone else becomes like a fairly poor projected play. But even if you take SGA out, like it's not like we need to be playing all the Thunder in our lineup. So like I'm treating this, even though the game is at 8:00, which means we're not going to get starting lineups until 8:10. Right.
I mean, you might get the starting lineup after lock, which is 8:00. Right. And it's 8:00, but it's not really 8:00. That's how the NBA works again.
But the point that I'm making, Dean, is that I may just not even care. Just like I think it's more likely I'm playing 3 lineups.
Yeah,
I just don't play an OKC player in any lineup and just screw it.
If you're playing those 3 lineups, I think that's okay. I absolutely think that's okay. And even if SGA doesn't play and Giddey's out, then okay, you could play guys like Trey Mann, like you mentioned, Dort or Chamber. But it's not like they're crazy cheap. Like Dort's $6K on DK.
Right. Those would be the guys. Like if you wanted to take a shot, if SGA is out, I would take it more on like Dort or Mann. But like
Kenrich Williams, maybe Poku's been terrible, but maybe
these guys. I mean, look at these minutes for look at all these people.
Well, the projection team, like it's they have to put a number on it. But like if you ask them, you corner them, you shoot them up in the lie detector test and say what is the hardest team to? I don't know why they would be deceitful. I don't know why we need to bring in technology.
Well, I think truthfully, Dean, the 2 hardest teams are playing each other.
Well, I would say Indiana would say hold my beer.
Right. Okay. And I think the Clippers, when you don't know if Kawhi's going to play or not, like that's a different story.
Are all on the Family Feud board. I think Clippers, OKC, and Indiana are on the Family Feud board of toughest teams to project as far as.
And the fact that those 3 are still tougher than the Spurs should say how tough they are, because typically Popovich is the toughest, and they want to lose also, and they happen to just what's going on with the Spurs? They're just winning every game.
Well, I saw somebody tweeting out like, should the Spurs fire Popovich for being 3-1? Like what? And he doesn't have a contract for next year. Like this might be it. I think he's 73. So, like you'd think he would want to, as a giveaway gift, like he probably wants to do well in his last season, right? He admittedly in the beginning of the year, he basically said, don't bet on us to win anything because they're not going to.
That's not very good for a coach to say. Who says that?
But he's an honest guy.
Okay. I mean, I would give credit for him to be honest, but how do you tell your fans? It's like, you know what? Don't expect much.
Well, I mean, life is about expectations, man. And look, if you're expecting this, if you're a Spurs fan and you've got your hoodie on and you think you're going to the championship this year, it's not happening. You're going to be very disappointed. Do not reserve your playoff tickets. It's unlikely to happen. Maybe they get the 10 or something.
You can reserve them, Dean. Why not? There's no harm in reserving them.
Well, I mean, if you got to lock up some money, there's harm in it.
Oh no, you don't have to lock up the money. You just reserve. You put it in.
I don't know what the ticket policy is for the San Antonio Spurs when it comes to playoff tickets, but.
I'll reserve them for you, Dean. I'm reserving San Antonio Spurs playoff tickets.
All right. Well, then I got to take a trip to San Antonio. That's a whole other excursion.
Well, why not?
The Riverwalk is nice there. I enjoy it.
It's a nice town.
Yeah, I've only spent a day or two. I was on a road trip, and I did enjoy my limited time there in San Antonio. What I was getting at, as far as the body parts in the slates, Paul George is out. Brandon Ingram, I think he's got a head. He's out. SGA is out. Josh Giddey is out. So Giddey and SGA both being out theoretically could be a big deal for OKC.
Did you say Brandon Ingram got head?
He got a head.
Oh, okay. Like, is that the reason why he's out?
You're thinking of Jamal Murray.
No, that's a weird reason to be on the injury report.
No. Brandon Ingram, he had a concussion. And I'm not sure if he's passed it or not, but he's not playing. He's not playing basketball this evening. Same deal with Zion. Zion Williamson. Different reason. It's not head related.
Did Zion get a hand? Did he get a hand?
I don't remember what he got specifically, but he is.
What's going on with the Pelicans? People are getting head and hands. And
hey, you ever been to Mardi Gras? New Orleans is a.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I guess so. Yeah, they've been on Bourbon Street.
Yeah, you ever actually been? I was just. I know I was asking rhetorically, but.
Yeah, I've been. I've gotten one of those lighted up whatever drinks or all those
Hurricane.
bars sell like some like
O'Brien's.
$24 whatever the hell with the
Pat O'Brien's, the Hurricane. Is that what you're thinking of?
Yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. We are demonetized, by the way. Just Devin, can you confirm?
No, it says we included sponsored content because we're promoting RotoGrinders. Get the projections. It's the best. Look, it says shows right on the screen. Premium NBA projections. It's the best projections in the industry. Go sign up for RotoGrinders Premium. You'll get all the numbers. That's all you need. It's a projectable sport. Why not?
Do you have also
sign up for Scores and Odds Premium? I'll do all the promos, Dean. Don't worry about it. Scores and Odds. Go sign up there. Get your prop picks. Right? I go and hey, you could use the NBA projection. You know what you could do? This is what I did. This is what I did. I already did this. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got 11. 11 of them on Prize Picks. Right? People look to me for Prize Picks and they go, "Okay, what should I play?" It's like all you have to do, sign up for RotoGrinders. You get the statistical projections, which there's a page, and a lot of times, like with the Blitz with Cardi, I have to use one page and then compare it to Prize Picks and go back and forth.
Yeah,
but we have this extension for Chrome called the RotoGrinders Tools Prize Picks extension.
How much does that extension cost, Blender?
It's cost nothing, but it won't do anything unless you're a premium member. You got to sign in with your account, and then when you sign in, you'll see right on the screen like the overlay with the little RotoGrinders logo of the statistical projection for for most of the categories. They have to fix some like blocks plus steals they don't have, but you could look through. So like for instance, I go down, I see let's see what's a good one. We have Draymond projected for a little bit higher than the kind of the rest of the industry.
I think we're a little hot on Draymond personally.
We're a little bit hot, but I mean it's still like we bumped him down a little bit. He's now 28.9 fantasy mean, but his prop is 25.5. So like that's over a 3-point discrepancy. Like go hit that up. Right, there you go. I got this one, right? I got Draymond Green.
Are you betting these at night, early in the morning? What are the numbers?
No, dude, you could bet it right. Look, I have it right now.
Well, yeah, but you get it early, you get the better lines in theory.
Yeah, if it moves. I mean, some of them don't move. So I just trust our projections team.
Yeah,
right.
No, for sure. Like what you're saying makes a ton of sense. And I do this for football as well. And I think you do it Tuesday nights for football. Is that correct?
Yeah, Tuesday night or Wednesday morning with the blitz projections, but those are much more likely to move by Sunday. I mean, this you got like 8 hours by the time some of these props come out, and I just go hammer like McCollum, for instance. McCollum's assists, for instance. Let's take a look at the assist props. Like McCollum
assists. I think I walked in this conversation. You were talking to producer Devin as I was jumping in the door, and I think you're like the under because he doesn't have the reliable shooters around him necessarily.
Right. Well, I'm assuming. Dean. I just trusted our projections team. Like I don't even care. Like I literally don't even care the reasoning. Just that I trust the projections team. So I go through and I look and I see the biggest discrepancies. I need a big one, right? I need big ones on Prize Picks. So they need to be like minus 137s, natural implied probability. So like I go to assists and where's did they take it down? I guess maybe, no, here it is. McCollum, 6.5 is the prop. 5.14 is our projection. Now on Underdog, it's actually 6. Which means that you'd much rather on Prize Picks than on Underdog. But there you go. This is one that I got. I got a bunch. I think I have more money on this prop than I do in like DFS today.
Well, the thing is, McCollum can't assist himself, and he's got. I was looking at the court IQ before the show started. You kick Brandon Ingram off the court. You kick Zion off the court. Herb Jones also not playing basketball for number ones this evening. This is back to last year, 182 game sample. His usage is 35.5%, which is just an enormous number. You got to love McCollum this evening. New Orleans, rough, they're going to be featured on TNT with basically half their lineup out, but that is the front half of the doubleheader. Back half is Phoenix and Golden State. The very first game, what are your thoughts, Blender, as far as how this slate is stretched out, right? One game at 7 o'clock, one at 7:30, one at 8, and then kind of the a la carte game. On the back half there, Golden State at Phoenix at 10 o'clock this evening. Most of the news theoretically is out there, with the exception of SGA being questionable. Golden State and Phoenix, I don't expect anything goofy. No teams on the front half. No teams in the back half of a back-to-back. There's one team in the front half. That will be Detroit. But as far as just the layout of the schedule, does that affect the way you're making lineups tonight, or not so much?
Maybe a little bit. I think we need. I need to see the Clippers starting lineup?
We're not going to know that.
They can mix them up because it's not only George that's out; Marcus Morris is out as well. So, like, we take a look at these Clippers projections, and we have obviously we're projecting Norman Powell for them to play a little bit smaller against OKC. I'm assuming that's what the projections team has it, and Norman Powell to get more usage, basically replacing Paul George in the starting lineup. Kawhi only playing 24 minutes, and then like having some backcourt split between John Wall and Reggie Jackson. And then just really what happens in the front court, because we're going to have Zubac play probably.
You never know if he's going to close.
We don't know if he's going to close. Right. But then it's going to be that you still have the 4 to deal with. Right. So it's not just like with Marcus Morris out. It's not just like Zubac comes out and then Covington comes in. It's like, well, does Covington play the 4 with Zubac at times? Does Batum play the 4 with Zubac sometimes? So to me, like Covington and Batum, these minute projections for both of them could be quite fragile. My attitude is that I'd rather not play them together, right? But we have Covington projected in as the starter at the 4, but it's quite possible that Batum starts. Now, if Batum starts, that doesn't necessarily mean he's a better play than Covington, because like
not necessarily,
right? Not necessarily. The thing about the Clippers is that you really don't know when Kawhi's playing, right? Like, dude, we have him projected for 24 minutes. He could play 0.
Well, he's going to play 0. He's playing tonight. Island game. I think they're playing games with Kawhi and Paul George, and they kind of have a plan for the regular season. That's just my guess, but we don't know. But I would be shocked if Kawhi doesn't play tonight.
Yeah, but here's the situation. What happens if Covington doesn't start? And what happens if Man doesn't start and Kawhi starts? Then what do you do?
Well, I feel like he started the second half of some games this season, but still only playing 21 minutes. And we're projecting a slight bump, 21 the first 2 games. We'll dig in this more as far as how we break down this game soon enough, but we're going to go game by game. We're not going to start with that one. I think the most interesting thing to say about the Clippers, and we'll kind of like move on and talk about Detroit, is they're not like the Raptors. The Raptors, when guys are out, even when guys are in, everybody's available. They're still going to condense their rotation. The Clippers have one of the deepest teams in the league. They're 12 deep, right? They're playable basketball players, competent basketball players in that bench. Jackson, Man, Powell, Covington, Zubac, Wall, Leonard, Batum, Nard Dog, and even Amir Coffey. They're rolling 10 deep tonight. Even
Nard Dog? Who the hell is Nard Dog?
Luke Kennard.
Oh, okay. I was looking at the unprojected players, seeing if there's a Nardog in there.
Andy Bernard. Was he on the Clippers?
No, there's no Nardog.
Yeah.
Is that his name? Is that his nickname?
No. Do you not know the reference? Come on, man. Are you serious? You're a comedy person?
I don't know the reference.
You don't? Have you never watched The Office before?
Not the which version?
Oh, you've watched? Oh, what a snob! That's the snobbiest answer. You watched the Ricky Gervais Office version?
Yeah, well, I watched that version.
Watch them both.
Well, why do I have to watch both? Okay, here's Nardog. Okay, Nardog. It's Andy Bernard in the popular hit series The Office, played by Ed Helms. But
Yes.
do people call Luke Kennard
The Nard Dog?
Yeah,
I'm a person. I don't know. I'm sure I'm not the
no
first
one.
one.
No one
that.
does. I don't see it in Google. So,
well, Google. No. Have you binged it?
Oh, so I have to go to a different search engine. In order that's where I have to find it on the dark web.
The dark web.
I have to download Tor. Go look at the drug dealers. The drug dealers and the weapons dealers, they're the ones that call Luke Kennard Nardog, right? That's where you hang out all day, Dean.
I mean, Bing is like it's a little bit off the beaten path, but I wouldn't call it the dark web. Very first game in the slate blender, the Detroit Pistons and the Washington Wizards. 220 is the total. Wizards are 5-point favorites in this game as far as the body parts that we're monitoring in this game. Like it's nothing, right? So everybody's healthy and good to go. Like Alec Burks, if you want to count that, I don't want to count that. He's not playing basketball tonight for Detroit. Even if he's healthy, he probably wouldn't. And everybody's this one depends where you're shopping, right? Porzingis on Fanduel is really, really popping. Playable on DK as well, too. Porzingis and Beal. Kuzma, I wish he was a little bit cheaper, but sure, I get it. You want to start with the Washington side? This is the game I have the most questions on, and I also don't want to be completely tied to it because of late news, and I want to have some slots open so I can swap to the surprise starters. Like right now we have Devontae Graham starting New Orleans. Why can't Najee Marshall start in that game? Why can't Jose Alvarado? That's possible as well too. I want to leave some versatility. Unless someone have a little game stack and just kind of figure it out beyond that. But this is my least favorite game on the slate. I'm curious your thoughts because a lot of good players. Most of the guys you got to pay for, the ones you actually want. But I'll leave it up to you. What side do you want to start on, Detroit or Washington?
I think for raw points, you're fine. I mean, Cunningham's fine for raw points. Beal's fine for raw points. You can play Porzingis on DraftKings also. I'd be more concerned about like guys like Sadiq Bey, because depending on that Pelicans starting lineup and the Clippers starting lineup, it's like I'm most likely going to be playing Trey Murphy at small forward, and he's only small forward eligible on DraftKings, and Bey is also only small forward eligible on DraftKings. So most likely I'm not filling my small forward spot with Sadiq Bey, and then also like
yeah, I hear you.
And the same thing for like Kuzma. Like, I think that I'm much more likely to wait for this Clippers lineup and play Covington or Batum and pay down at power forward. But just understand, if you're paying up at power forward, you're probably going to be different. Now, I don't know what the hell's available at power forward. Like, you basically would be playing like Christian Wood or Kuzma, or we'll talk about Draymond a little bit. But like, I could understand like Isaiah Stewart. I think he's okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with
to plug him in. But like, do I want to plug him in, or do I want to take a shot on someone like Larry Nance? Right? It seems like the Pelican situation, there's so much more variance there that for GPPs, I'd much rather wait even if it comes out like 5 minutes after lock. Like I feel like I'd much rather take a shot, even though Nance projects a little bit lower. But like, imagine if Nance plays 34 minutes instead of 29. Like, you don't know. Is Najee Marshall gonna play? What minutes is he gonna play?
He may start at 3.2K on DK.
Yeah, but just because he starts doesn't mean he's gonna play like 32 minutes or anything.
What are we projecting for? I mean, we'll get to that game soon enough. But I feel like he's gonna play 28 off the top of the head.
Okay, but I'm just highlighting that when it comes to the first game on the slate, is that there's nothing that screams out here like you got to play them. That, like, if you wanted to, just X out the first game and just wait for starting lineups. I think that's perfectly viable, because I mean these guys are okay. Like Porzingis, Beal, Cunningham, Stewart. You could play Bey. I'm typically lower on Kuzma. I think you can play. Yes, you can play him, but typically, I think he runs HODL too many times. His underlying metrics show that he's not as good as his fantasy scores sometimes. Then you have all these other guys, which like I'm just not like I guess Bojan is I guess he's playable. He'll play minutes, 5,500. He's probably a median outcome type of guy. But then outside of that, it's like now you're just taking shots for no. Do you want to play Jaden Ivey at 6,800? I don't.
No chance.
Right? You could take a shot on like Denny Advija or something. I mean, but even then, like, why are you playing Denny at 3,800 when we're going to have value open up in the Pels and the Clippers, even the Thunder, for crying out? I'd rather take a shot on some 3K Thunder player than play, Denny for 22 minutes or something. Like, it just, like, this first game, there are guys in the other, like, look, if you don't play Beal, what's the worst case scenario? So you're playing Booker. Booker projects better than Beal to begin with.
What if everybody has the same thought process as us? I'm going to take a look at the ownership stuff. And by the way, I do want to mention producer Devin just dropped this in the chat. What's up, chat? Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. Devin's showing off all our fabulous tools. Not all of them. You can't show them all off.
I'm showing it off. It's my screen.
Oh, I didn't realize. Okay, well I didn't realize you had control of the screen.
Don't give Devin credit for my screen. I have the best screen.
Well, what's Devin doing if he's not? He's producing the show for sure. Does it produce itself?
What
is
is
like
he
an
doing?
These days?
See, he's here. He'll hop in.
Dean, I'm taking a nap. Leave me alone, okay?
He's watching The Office. That's what
it looks like you muted yourself, Dean.
Wait, am I?
There you go.
What are we giving away? Because I see in the Discord channel, Devin, 2 winners. Each person will get 1 week free of RotoGrinders Premium. How does one find the RotoGrinders Discord. Like, I'm an old person. I'm confused. The internet scares me. What's this dark web you speak of? Is the RotoGrinders Discord on the dark web?
What's this dark web you speak of? Discord? Why would I want Discord? I want harmony. No, you can just go to the RG Discord, free to join, rotogrinders.com/Discord. Go to the free channel live stream chat and hit the enter button. 2 winners, as Dean mentioned, 1 week of combo RG premium for each of them.
Can we run a poll in the chat? Thumbs up, thumbs down, Devin's mustache.
All right,
and what's the betting line, Blender? Are the people pro or con? I think pro runs away with it. They're a fan of the mustache. And Devin, stay on cam so the people can get a good look because they might have forgot already.
Why can't there be a third choice? Why can't there be a third choice? Like why?
I want the coin to land on the side. That's all.
Right. I don't care. Like what? If someone asks me, it's like, what do you think of Devin's mustache? I go, I don't think anything of it.
You're indifferent. You have no thought.
No, it's the Howard Rourke answer.
Blender's just saying the mustache is in the projections.
Right,
just look at the numbers.
Of course.
I'm Googling Howard Rourke as we speak, by the way.
You don't know you don't know the Fountainhead?
Should I Bing him? Is that a movie?
It's an Ayn Rand
him?
What is the Fountainhead? Is that a book?
You start with Keister, you go with Bing, man.
How are you not cultured to know?
I am cultured, but I'm sorry, but Howard Rourke is not in my repertoire.
Right.
And Wig in chat actually wins. It is
What
actually it's Mario. No, it's Mario. They guessed why the mustache is there.
Okay. By the way, yes, currently running away with it, 88%. The people, but I love it. It says Devin's mustache, yes or no. Like, yes.
I wasn't gonna change the answers to thumbs up or thumbs down. Like,
but what does yes mean? Like, yes, there is a mustache.
To the stash. The answer's right there, Dean. It's written clear as day.
I mean, I just don't. I feel like it's kind of up to interpretation, just yes or no. But all right, fair enough. Yes is running away with it as far as I can see. And I'll learn about Howard Rourke after the show. I feel like I've been outed as being an uncultured person. Is this something everybody knows, Devin? That people know about Howard Rourke?
I don't know who Howard Rourke is, but
Good.
I'm not. I don't parade myself around as a cultured person. So,
what'd you think of Blender's like? Oh, The Office. You mean Ricky Gervais? That's a snobbish thing to say, right?
They're different things, right? Like the Ricky Gervais Office is like a different show. They're 2 different beasts.
It's meaner and like sadder. It's good.
Right. It's better. Totally better.
A lot drier.
More awkward.
Right.
But like to assume when somebody references The Office, to assume they're talking about the Rick Gervais version. And the conversation
like someone said in chat, Dean, like where is this? Be shot. Imagine trying to criticize Blender's taste in comedy.
I was criticizing your ability to listen to a conversation because the conclusion that we're talking about Ricky Gervais' Office version or The Office. I mean, that's unlikely. That is the contrarian.
Have you met me? Does it sound like I listen to any conversation?
I just love that Dean's accusing you of being snobby when his his whole explanation from it exudes snobbiness. He's just like, how could he have the gall?
You not know Nardog? Like really?
You know I'm a hypocrite.
Yes, it's been established 100%.
American Office is for teenagers. Come on, that's a ridiculous take. Devin, can we block B-Shot in the chat?
B-Shot's a long time listener, first time chatter. So unfortunately, no.
I did get recommended the other day by someone that I should watch Mindhorn.
What is it?
Mindhorn. It's a British comedy movie for Netflix that basically I think it's produced by Alan Partridge.
I don't mind Horn.
And you have no idea. I'm just mentioning things. Dean, do you just watch Big Bang Theory? Like, what's going on?
No, now I'm insulted. I'm gonna walk off. But, come on, are you
Shots fired.
You can call me a lot of things, but do not call me a Big Bang Theory truther.
You got to watch some good comedies.
I'm out. We don't have time to. I'm out.
Dean, try some Rush Hour for once in your life.
More of a Rush Hour 2 guy. Oh my God. Yeah. The Devin. No, that's not my dog. Somebody's dog's going. Is that yours, Blender?
No.
Okay. Well,
no, that's mine. Yep. So I will be dipping away for just a second.
Blender, let's talk about what do we have to say here about Detroit and Washington? Detroit and Washington on Fanduel getting a ton of ownership. Porzingis, the Zinger, 52%. It's a 4-gamer. Obviously, ownership's going to condense. 7.4 seems too cheap. Bradley Beal at 7.8 seems a little bit too cheap. 35%. Cunningham's been a little slow coming out the gate. 37%. Kuz at 31. Sadiq Bey has been good for a couple games. I'm okay with Beef Stew. Can get a little handsy at times, but I think he's fine. But I don't love it. It feels like this game is more popular on Fanduel than DK. If you just kind of jump back and forth. Porzingis at 33 on DK. Beal at 27. Stewart and Bey around 20 on DK. But it sounds like you're kind of sort of with me that I think I'm going to do less in the field in this game, and I hope that's not a mistake. I might make a game stack, just like a just in case. Put a couple people, Cunningham and maybe Beef Stew, or maybe just Cunningham and Porzingis, like a little skinny stack. But as of right now, I'm a little bit under on Detroit, Washington. Is that a comfortable feeling?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
All right. I feel like you don't have a lot to say about this game.
No, look, the projections are there. Everyone's starting. Everything's as expected. So you have to expect that at like 7 minutes before lock, that Porzingis is just going to be rolled out for no reason. He
did get injured in game one, like both him and Miles Turner. Remember Miles Turner, the ball boy, took him out? Or like he tripped.
It was a staff member. They clarified it. It wasn't a ball boy. It was a staff member.
Is that better or worse? I mean, I don't know.
I don't know, but they didn't want to embarrass the boy.
And then also, I think Porzingis got hurt celebrating, maybe? I can't remember the reason, what got him dinged, but he's kind of fragile.
Okay, hold on. We're heading into a slate. Okay, Kawhi Leonard has been ruled out. That news just came across Twitter.
No.
Yes, injury management.
What? You cannot be serious. Wow, man. Oh, I got my
now we got 24 minutes to allocate to other Clippers. So let's just Detroit, Washington is out of the question now. Now,
not out of the question, but like, yeah.
Norman Powell, all these guys are going to get you're going to get Kennard is going to jump up. Reggie Jackson's it's 24 minutes of high usage that's going to be gone. Even if he doesn't start, right? It's the second. It's the second unit even.
OKC is not standing for this. We are the kings of the tank. You can't bench Paul George and Kawhi again. Now I'm gonna double down. I was already wrong on Kawhi playing. There's no way SGA plays now. They're gonna see Kawhi and raise you an SGA. You
think that's what they're doing? You think it's just a like a dick fight?
I don't think OKC wants to win the game. The players on the court are going to try as hard as they possibly can, but the management does not want to win this basketball game. 100%. You put them give them the lie detector test. We want to lose. We want a big L. We want a big fat L in this game. And playing against the Clippers, a deep team, but without Kawhi and Paul George, they might just hit SGA.
They should have at least given a legitimate reason that Kawhi is sitting. At least the Pelicans are telling us that Brandon Ingram got head, and that's why he's out. If Kawhi is nope, if he got it some other way, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, they didn't play yesterday. They're not playing tomorrow. It's also this is a game on the road versus OKC. If there is a traditional rest spot, it's that. But I really
it's like every regular season game is a rest spot.
Yeah, I mean, just hit the sim button for the playoffs, then all of a sudden everybody's healthy. We'll talk about that game soon enough, and hopefully we'll give our projection team some time to figure out. And again, the Clippers are still going to have 9 guys, and I'm really curious how that's going to work. And I'll fire up the court IQ. You can fire up the court IQ when we get there. You can do
how much of the sample size do we have? I want to see if I don't think the projection.
Well, Kawhi didn't play last year at all, so you use last year obviously. Extend this year and last.
I guess so. Without George, let's see. Do we have I'm not sure if they made what if projections with Kawhi out. I think we just assumed.
Well, yeah, I thought he was going to play. I was wrong.
Yeah, we just have OKC if SGA is out. So let's go to Court IQ, which is part of RotoGrinders. If you're a premium member, you could use this all you want.
I think. Am I wrong to say Court IQ is free? A free tool?
Is it free? Is it? I'm always logged in. I don't know what's free or not free.
That's the thing. I don't know either, but I'm pretty sure I feel like it's a free tool, and it's an awesome free tool.
You feel like it.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do we do?
Hardaway officially ruled out. He was doubtful. That's not a surprise.
Yeah, but he wasn't in the projections to begin with. Okay, so we're taking Marcus Morris off. We're taking Kawhi off.
And
George off.
We'll get a sample because George missed some games last year.
Right.
You'll get something.
That's it. We don't have to do anything, right? No, okay.
Yeah.
Let's roll. Oh, this
Let's
is
see what
for
changes.
this is for which year? Yeah, we should have.
No, you can include the last 2 seasons. Like you said, like just go to the bottom right underneath Run Curie. No, right above it.
This is last season.
Okay, you can include this year too if you want. It's not much, but you can include it.
Right, last season, this season, last 2 seasons. So does last 2 seasons mean this season and last season?
That's my understanding.
That's your understanding. Okay, let's do that. Well, for the 3-4 games.
Yeah, it's not necessary, but it's
right because Hardenstein. I mean, like Hardenstein, it's not on the team anymore.
Yeah, you can X him out, but yeah.
Right. So let's see. As far as usage is concerned, it's Norman Powell, but only in 49 minutes. Right, because you have Justice Winslow in here. You got Brandon Boston in here.
You're killing me. You don't sort by usage? Go to the usage button and click, and now the players will jump.
It's 7 minutes of John Wall. What does that have to do with it?
Don't worry about that.
I want to take the other guys. I want to take the other guys out, Dean.
Don't take out too many guys because then we're going to lose our sample.
I don't think it matters.
Well, I mean, the sample's going to go away the more guys you take out.
Okay, Boston's still on the team.
Don't worry about Boston. He doesn't matter.
How about Ibaka? Ibaka isn't on the team this year.
Right? I mean, I don't think he matters a lot. I think
right.
Now it's just going to increase our sample.
Winslow, we got to take off Winslow. Okay, so let's run it now. Let's see how small the sample size we could even get.
All right.
Okay, 310 minutes. Okay, we got Coffee in here. We got Jackson, Covington, right? I mean, still only 12 minutes of Norman Powell and 7 minutes of John Wall. But, I mean, that's what it looks like. Obviously, I mean, it's who you think it's going to be, Wall, Powell, and Jackson. Because who else?
Well, Wall is just like he's good if they let him play. How many minutes they're going to let him play, we don't know. Like, he's going to be good, though. He's going to get a lot of usage, but is he going to play 24 minutes, and is that enough? It might be enough.
But fantasy point per dollar, I mean, as far as fantasy point per minute, we see more Covington, Jackson, Batum, I guess. I mean, like Powell and Wall and Jackson will get like more usage, but maybe this helps Covington more than anyone.
According to TJ Husmanzada in the chat, we sound like an old married couple. Is that a compliment? Is that good or bad? It's probably not a compliment. I don't know, but it's probably accurate too. But you scroll down, Blender. You can see like how the per 36 changes also. As far as
the differential, yeah, in 7 minutes, the usage differential goes up for Wall.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
That is?
Well, for the Wall thing, you just got to use your brain in that one, right? Use your head. Like, of course, if Wall is going to get in the court, he should be a good player. I'm curious how many minutes we projected for him. But I guess we're kind of on that game right now. We got to jump back and talk Dallas, New Orleans. That is the most important game.
Yeah, but for this game, do you think that Wall and Jackson's minutes change? Like, I don't think they want to play Wall for 36 minutes. I mean, like that. Like, I don't think that's happening. I think this is more likely to benefit guys like Kennard, Mann.
The Nard Dog?
And who?
Never mind. So what's going to happen?
Serious discussion here, Dean. What I would normally do is just wait for the projections team to tell me the numbers will get updated and then get your answer. But I suspect that like I don't think Jackson and Wall's minutes are going to. I mean, is Wall going to start now? I mean, like he's not even in the starting lineup to begin with.
We have projected for 22 minutes. Maybe he plays 24. There's some fragility to it. I think what's going to happen is, and I think that's kind of where we're at right now. Like we'll give a refresh. Powell probably plays the most minutes. I think he can play like 32, 33, maybe 34. And then we're going to have a bunch of guys playing like 24 to 28 minutes.
Well, I think I'm really happy that I slammed the Powell overs earlier. Slammed them on Prize Picks. Slammed them all over the place.
He's going to be really, really popular at 3.9K on FanDuel.
Oh, he's only 3,900 on FanDuel?
Yeah. Powell's going to be – and Powell's not traditionally a guy that just just takes over a game. Like, he's a good shooter when he's used. But he's kind of like a secondary piece or a third guy. But I'm trying to see what his – I think he's really cheap on DK too, if I'm not mistaken. 4.8. So he's going to be in cash games on DK as well. With the FanDuel price, that's probably going to be hard to get away from on FanDuel at 3.9. That's a big number. I don't know if this makes Zubac more likely or less likely to start, but like if Zubac plays 28 minutes versus OKC, he feels like an awesome play. But again, it's hard to predict if he's going to close. Terrence Mann's going to play minutes in the mid-20s. It's going to be tough. I mean, they're all so cheap is the other part of a blender. Look at the prices in the Clippers. I'm on Fanduel right now, but like there's some comparable stuff on DK. But Powell's 3.9, Mann 3.7, Arjax 4.5, Batum 3.6. Good Lord. A Nard Dog, Kennard for the uninformed, 3.6K. Amir Coffee, if you want to dig that deep, is 3.5. I don't know if you have to. You probably don't. But, man, you can stars and scrubs with New Orleans and Clippers and then studs. Like, that's what you can do.
Right. Well, all this is going to do is increase the ownership of guys like Luka and Curry and Beal and Booker and guys like that. I mean, on both sites. I mean, the Prize Picks already has all the Clippers props down.
Yeah,
so,
you got to be quick to react to that because if
because they just pull. They don't like move them. They literally just wipe out an entire team.
If somebody's got to be on that button for NBA, you got to be quick if you're working for them because otherwise you're going to get hammered.
I don't know what you could have. I don't know what you could have hit that you didn't hit before. Like that's what I'm saying. I'm waiting to see what this Powell number comes in at Prize Picks because my CLV is going to be insane. I got Powell at over 20. Like, dude, I got him at. We have him projected for 28.86 with Kawhi in. I got his over at 23.5. I wouldn't be surprised if the number comes in at like 27, 28 when Price Picks comes back on, and then I'm just going to be just nice expected value there.
The Crunch Time crew, I think it's TJ. I see TJ in chat. What's up, TJ? He'll make sure you guys hit the like button if I don't. He does a better job than I do. Hit that like button if you guys are hanging out. Subscribe. Hit those notifications as well. We do appreciate that. It keeps the lights on. It's interesting. Myself and you, I thought we were going to go game by game. We're just kind of like jumping around. And they're going to clean everything else up. Whatever we don't talk about, they'll talk about. But I think we should kind of sort of move off from the Clippers OKC, see what projections do. But the Clippers look good. They're cheap. Again, the tricky part is it's not a condensed rotation. They have a really deep roster. They're still play, I think, 10 guys, right? Covington, Powell, Batum, Mann, Zubac, Arjax, Coffee, Kennard, maybe one more.
They'll probably get like Boston. I think probably they'll play Boston in the rotation. Brandon Boston. At 3K.
maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Or Diabate, Musa Diabate at power forward or something. They'll do something.
Who?
Musa Diabate. He's listed as a power forward. I just know all I know is that Marcus Morris is out also. So they need someone that could play like the 3 and the 4 probably more than they need a backcourt player.
And I think
that's why. Why do you think the Powell projection is so high? Like Powell could play pretty much 2 and 3 and play a small ball 4. So
he's versatile.
Right, he's much more versatile. Like to me, I'm probably slamming Norman Powell on FanDuel. It's out of the. I mean,
it's hard to get away from that.
He's 39. I mean, dude, he's cheaper on FanDuel than he is on DraftKings, which should be the other way around. Norman Powell would be. If I was playing 150 lineups on FanDuel, it's quite possible I'd have Norman Powell in all 150 lineups.
And then right before tip-off, the ball boy, sneaks in.
It's a staff member, Dean. It's a staff member.
So we got to talk about New Orleans. New Orleans and Dallas first half of that TNT doubleheader, 218.5 is the total. New Orleans is a 6-point dog here. We haven't mentioned Luka Doncic. Like, with all the value on this slate, you're just playing Luka Doncic. Like you're just playing him. I'm just playing him. He is ridiculous. He's awesome. Whatever adjective you want to use, that entire Dallas offense is going to revolve around him. I saw the other game. He was involved at every point for the first, 25 points of the game, whatever it was. If he's not scoring, he's assisting. Do you want to make an argument against playing Luka today? Because
ownership.
I guess that's the argument. And if he puts up like 55, you can easily survive.
Good. I mean, you could play Curry, you could play Booker, you could play a little bit more balanced. Like if you do double punt, which you'll be able to do on this slate, you're going to get into a very common construction. So thinking more of the terms of like punting once and then playing like a Jonas Valanciunas, Porzingis,
Cunningham, Beal,
Ayton, Draymond, Wiggins, like these guys in like the high 5K, low 6K, 7K range, they're going to be much less owned because people are just going to be going up and down.
Yeah. Dinwiddie looks like a pretty decent play as well, too. But for me, the main priority for me on Dallas is Luka. no other priorities on Dallas. You say otherwise. And then New Orleans, it's not a great matchup here against Dallas. Dallas plays slow, pretty good defensive team, but all the usage is going to soak up. Well, not all of it, but I was running a court IQ earlier. We don't have time to run it again, but just take my word for it. When you kick Zion, when you kick off Ingram, when you kick off Herb Jones, CJ McCollum really jumps from a usage perspective. He's maybe he's going to have a few less assists or whatever, but he's going to be taking a lot of shots out there. And again, not the greatest matchup, but just volume. He's going to have a ton of volume. Like Valanciunas as well, too. I assume a Trey Murphy draws to start. I like him a good bit. We have Devontae Graham starting. That's fragile. Wouldn't be surprised if that's Marshall. Wouldn't be shocked if that's Alvarado. All of them are playable. We have Nance starting at the 4 for what it's worth. But New Orleans, my favorite play is McCollum. When you consider salary, maybe it's Trey Murphy. If Trey Murphy starts, it's probably Trey Murphy. But I like a lot of one's pieces. What say you?
In looking at this again from a strategic standpoint on a 4-game slate, if Powell is going to be super chalky and Murphy is going to be super chalky, on DraftKings, they're only small forward eligible, which means if you fill your small forward spot and your utility forward spot, all these other forwards are going to be much less owned than what you think they're going to be.
Small forward.
So I'm just looking at the small forward, power forward position. I think that there may be more value in playing guys like Sadiq Bey or Kuzma, Michael Bridges, Bojan, Nance, Wiggins, maybe. I think to me, I think Draymond is the best GPP play on the slate in general.
Oh, I hate that.
You hate that? Well, he's 56.
I think he's bad chalk. Like he's going to be crazy chalk on FanDuel.
He's not going to be crazy, but he's not going to be crazy chalk on DraftKings.
Okay, he's 5'6" on DK. That's a fair point.
No, he's not going to, because this is what's going to happen. Look,
he's a better FanDuel player too, for what it's worth.
You're going to play Murphy. This is what the field's going to do. They're going to play Murphy and Powell. They're going to play Covington at the power forward spot, right? Like I'm filling this in. Like I'm showing you the chalk lineup.
Murphy if he starts.
What?
Murphy's got to start, I think, for people to definitely play him.
Yes. Okay. We're just assuming that. Okay. Murphy starts, right? So now you got $6,300 average remaining. I think people are most likely probably play Ayton in the center spot. Right? Something like this, Ayton. Maybe depending on what the projections team comes up with, that the Clippers, I mean, you're probably fitting in another Clipper in here somewhere, either Man or Batum. If it's Batum, that means like you're filling in all your forward spots. So maybe if you're playing Man or Wall or Jackson, someone. So let's say we put in Terrence Mann here in the small forward spot. Like, this is what your lineup's going to look like. And then, you're going to pay up at guard to like Booker or Beal or something like that, and then fill it out from there. But because of this, it's like if so many people are going to be playing Murphy, Covington, and Powell, all these other forwards are going to dramatically lose ownership, right? So if we go to these forwards right here, what I'm saying is that based on our projected ownership right now, I think it's going to come in higher. I think Trey Murphy comes in at 38% and Powell at 42% and Covington at 50%, Batum at 32%. And then like Kuzma's not going to be 20% owned anymore. Kuzma's going to be 10% owned. Michael Bridges is going to be like 6% owned. Christian Wood is not going to be like, none of these guys are going to be in the double digits anymore. And then Draymond Green's going to be like 12% owned. I'm not saying that you fade all three of them between Murphy, Covington, and Powell, but consider playing only two, and then to benefit from the fact that most of your lineups that you're competing against are less likely to have one of those 6K to 8K type of forwards play that guy instead of a different guard. Because then you may be competing against lineups that have all three, Murphy, Covington, and Powell, with that guard anyway. So I think there's more value on this slate on DraftKings into being different at one forward spot, because you're going to get them at lower ownership than what we even have projected.
By the way, I would just say that if Covington somehow becomes chalk, I think he's bad chalk. There's a lot of fragility to Covington, and he's a 3-and-D guy. He's a guy that can put like 4 actual points in the bucket, and it could be a stock monster on the right night, and every once in a while he finds that 3-point stroke. But I don't love him as like a chalk play in theory. Shout out to we got a couple winners, by the way. Discord channel, 1 week free of RG Premium. Producer Devin was feeling nice, giving away a couple weeks, 1 week individually to Schultz 10. You got a week free of RG Premium as well as Gray Bill 720. All you do is hit that bell, hit that bell, and you would have been eligible in the Discord. We do those at least once or twice a week, it seems like, but they tend to be on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but every once in a while I want to keep you on the toes. It is a Tuesday, and Devin was feeling generous. I want your thoughts as far as, and Andy and TJ will talk about this in probably more detail. Golden State and Phoenix back half that TNT doubleheader, 226.5 is a total. Crunch Time crew knocking on the door. They'll be here shortly, but I did want to get your thoughts as far as Phoenix Golden State's minutes maybe getting bumped up a little bit more for Clay, maybe a little bit more for Draymond. They're on a minutes limit going into the season. The season's progressing. TNT, longer commercials. You tend to see for games that are more important amongst the 82, this is one you actually want to win. These teams want to win this game. Maybe a few extra minutes to go around. As far as the studs, wouldn't be surprised if Booker plays an extra minute or two. Your general thoughts as far as Golden State Phoenix?
I prefer the Phoenix side. I think the Phoenix lineup is a little bit more condensed and the minutes a little bit more solid. But I mean, they don't like stand out. I mean, I prefer Ayton at center the most, but like Booker and Paul are there. I think Draymond, truthfully, as mentioned before, I think Draymond is I think he's the best GPP player on the slate. And you kind of even made my case that his minutes upside can only be going up if it's, a nationally televised game that they kind of want to win.
What if
maybe
he gets
Draymond
ejected?
plays 30 minutes?
You might get ejected.
Or that happens in any game. You have to consider that possibility regardless.
He played 28 last time, 25, 27, 28. So maybe he gets the 30 if he's out of foul trouble and it's close and whatever. He's another guy.
Okay, our projections team just updated, and I don't know. Do we agree with 30 minutes for Amir Coffey?
I would take the under on that. He's going to play. Is he going to play 30? I don't think so.
Right, because that's what the current updated 622 projections are. Obviously, tune into Crunch Time right afterwards. And remember, Andy means he's part of the projections team. So
yeah,
I listen to Andy all the time, even if I'm not listening to him. Right there's Andy. Hey, Andy, what's going on with Amir Coffey?
Oh boy, Andy's on mute.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, they're projecting him to start, and if he doesn't start, that'll come down.
Okay, so what happens if Coffey doesn't start? I mean, what would the other lineup be? What would that be?
They'd probably bring him to low 20s. I don't know. They could start anyone from Covington, Batum, Kennard, Mann, Coffey. There's they have so many players, and we're just kind of guessing at this point.
Hey, Andy, if we're talking about the Clippers and I say the Nard Dog, do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, Andy Bernard.
Well, okay, but relevant to the Clippers conversation, we're talking about the Clippers, and I'm like, well, there's Terrence Mann, there's Arjax, there's the Nard Dog.
Luke Kennard, yeah. I mean, when you say Nard Dog, I see one person, and that's nailed it.
All right, fair enough. I thought you would bink that right out the gate, but never mind. We had I don't know if it's a show previous to us. Appreciate it if you watch, but that was a good 2 minutes of burning a conversation.
Andy is not on the dark web to know that the drug dealers called Luke Kennard Nard Dog.
Andy was thinking about The Office, the Ricky Gervais version, and he couldn't.
Right.
Because that's what people naturally do when you mention The Office. They think of Ricky Gervais and not.
Yeah, in the UK, that's what they do. So they
Where is the show taking place? Hi, Kevin.
What show's The Office, huh? Never heard of The Office. What's The Office?
I watched it 3 times. Probably.
Shai will play.
Who?
What?
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will play.
I thought for sure they would raise Kawhi. They don't want to win. Why is he playing? I don't understand. Nothing makes sense to me.
Wait, hang on. You're telling me Dean's tank talk came back to bite him?
Yeah. I was.
That's weird.
I will take the L on this one. I'm shocked.
When has that happened? That never happens.
Well, no. Devin, I don't know where the official scoreboard is, and I don't think I'm not one to take a victory lap. That's not me. That's not my personality.
I jumped in with a handful of dirt and I had to throw it at somebody. So.
All right. Well, SGA. How much do we care about that, Andy? That SGA is playing. Is he all of a sudden a great play?
No, I mean he's a good pivot off of some other guys, but he's not. I mean they still are going to play 13 guys or whatever.
Yeah. They played 12, I think, the other day in the first half. Everybody plays in that team. And I wasn't making this up, right, Andy, because I was talking to Blender about this. The coach literally said they want the competitive advantage of not saying who's starting. That's something that happened, right? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I mean, props to him for actually saying it. Every other coach thinks it for some reason, but I don't. Yeah, whatever. They're
the one team that doesn't want a competitive advantage. All right, Blender. We got anything else? The boys want to step aside and let them do their thing.
Nope, I'm jamming Amir Coffee until my lamps. Apparently,
he's 3K on DK, so you don't need him to play 30 minutes for what it's worth to still be like but just be ready. Be ready with your pivot.
Well, I have to be ready. I mean, to me, the move is to just basically X out the first game and just wait for the lineups.
But is everybody doing that? Because or maybe you could just lock in a couple plays and just put a dummy lineup beyond that. If you just like Porzingis, like you could do that. But yeah,
you can.
I'm
allowing you to do that, Dean. You can do that.
Thank you. I appreciate you giving me permission. TJ, have a good show. Get the likes up, TJ. I don't know where we're at, but I'm sure it's insulting. Is it insulting?
It is. It's not enough, man. We got almost 400 people watching, and we're only at 50 likes. We need 150 at bare.
Sorry, we're not like whores like you, TJ.
You should be.
If we weren't
you're not getting a hand in head like you were talking about all show with Brandon Ingram.
Well, that's what Dean said. He said that Brandon Ingram's out because he got head.
That's not. I feel like the court reporter would say differently. But on that note, George Costanza says it's our time. The Fanduel sponsored as of right now. Fanduel sponsored Crunch Time with Kevin Roth and TJ and Andy Mean starts now. Myself and Blender appreciate y'all watching the first half of Crunch Time. Take it over, Roth.
Appreciate it, Dino. Welcome to it. It's Crunch Time. It is sponsored by Fanduel. And if you haven't done so, make sure you check out the Fanduel Sportsbook. If you're in a legal sports betting state, take advantage of their fantastic bonus offer. You bet $5, you get $150 back in free bets and a free 3-month pass to NBA League Pass. Terms and conditions do apply. Make sure you're doing that. And make sure you are watching some of the sharpest minds in the biz, which we have on screen right now. One, Mr. Andy Means. I feel like I hear Boogie getting after it in the background.
Yeah, Boogie's fired up. I left him out because he turned 5, and I thought he'd actually be an adult now that I'm starting shows, but he is proving me wrong. So no more DeMarcus Cousins on slates either to go with the Boogie theme. So right. I mean, he'll shut up in a little bit, I think.
All right, we got TJ as well. TJ, how you feeling about this slate, man?
It's fun. It's exciting. I am making the mistake of playing 150 lineups while on Crunch Time, but I'm excited about it just because it feels like a very exploitable slate to do so with 100K up top on FanDuel today. So I'm going to do it. I'm taking the risk, and I'm not quite doing what Blender said and Xing out the first game and dealing with it after, but pretty darn close. I'm playing maximum 1 player from each of these teams in the first game.
Okay. Well, when news breaks and you're trying to scramble and change 150 lineups, just so you know, I'm going to be peppering you with questions just to make you stress out even more.
Yeah, I'm ready.
That's what I do. Okay, guys. Means let's talk about this slate. It's a little slate, but everyone seems to like it. I don't know. I kind of hated it, but maybe you're going to turn my frown upside down and tell me that you got some stuff for me.
I mean, for a 4-game slate, it is interesting just because there's moving parts. Because, I mean, we knew from just even last night, Paul George was ruled out, Ingram ruled out, Herb Jones ruled out, Giddey ruled out, SGA was ruled out, now he's playing. Then Kawhi got ruled out, even though he was on, I don't know, we'll call it, we were putting him at like mid-20s minutes, but he's out. Marcus Morris is out. So a lot of big names for four games that we are missing. And then you add in the intrigue of what we've already been talking about with starting lineups. It's less relevant now for OKC because SGA is playing, but the Clippers on the other side of that game, we just don't know. Like, you look, if I pull up their lineups right now, as Boogie goes crazy, that like besides John Wall and Reggie Jackson's going to start instead of John Wall, and Zubats is going to start, and Powell's going to start. Then you have the 2 and the 4 basically that could go to Batum, Covington, or Kennard. So like, there's literally 3 guys that could fit into 2 spots. So that's going to be something we need to watch. And like Dean was kind of alluding to, all those guys are cheap. So like you look at these Clippers guys, like Man's 3.7, Coffee's 3.5. I think Kennard's like right around there. Batum's 3.6, Jackson's 4.5. So it's definitely an interesting slate. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, is this a spot where you basically just plug in one or two of them and then you wait to see who's starting and then switch it out, or is it not going to work like that positionally, flexibility wise?
Good question. I'm going to filter off every game except for the first one. So like, let's see, like, and we'll just use FanDuel for an example. And like right away you see, like I have Porzingis tagged, and a lot of that has to do with the state of the power forward position in general on FanDuel and his price tag. He's been pretty good this season from a per minute perspective, a little better than Beal actually. Doesn't play as many minutes, but still. So I think you put him in, and then the next really decision point would be these 2 7K shooting guards. And definitely after that on FanDuel, from an optimal lineup perspective, you just like for sure completely get rid of it. So like real quick while we're talking about it, let's just look at the shooting guard position and see who else we're looking at that's in the mix here. So like if you want to, I think you play Powell at small forward. I would definitely say that. And you have, I mean, literally the 3 best Clippers as projecting out for us are all shooting guard small forward. Great. So I think you would not play Beal or Cade Cunningham, because like worst case scenario, you can fix it to like where you play Booker at shooting guard, and he's the very late game of the night. So if it's me, I'm buying time and waiting to get a lineup. But you can also, like, it may just work out where you have, let's say you have 2 of these guys, like you definitely are playing Powell, and then you put in Man, like, oh, Man's not starting, but Coffee is. Well, then you just, you could, it should work out with the positional and the positions and the pricing that you should be able to make clean swaps. But yes, to answer your question, I think you play Porzingis in the first game on FanDuel and then just forget about the rest. That's what I would do.
Okay, very good. All right, well, let's kind of go through a build here, Means, and you kind of started there, but let's go through it position by position and fill out some of these spots.
All right. I'll just go. Yeah, let's do guards. Let's just start with point guard. So I think here's one thing I will say, like build around Luka, because you have the money. Pricing is looser on FanDuel like usual, and I just listed like 3 or 4 guys that are in like the 3 to 4K range that just make it really easy to play him. So I think you put Luka in there and definitely put him at point guard, because then you save your shooting guard slot for some of those Clippers. So I think you definitely do that. The Reggie Jackson thing is tricky just because they haven't really let him loose on minutes for whatever reason. It's not like he was dealing with, something similar that Kawhi was dealing with. So I don't know. Like we have him at 26, and now that PG's out, now that Morris is out, now that Kawhi's out, that's a lot of usage to go around. So I think he's fine. I would think there's only room up on his minutes. Like they've been keeping him in the low to mid 20s, so he's fine. I do prefer the other guys that are at like shooting guard, small forward, if we're talking just Clippers. So take that for what it's worth. I think he's cash viable strictly because he's 4.5. That's just, there's not a lot of downside on a 4.5 price tag, short of an injury, foul trouble, or just Wall drastically outplays him. So he's fine. Grand Theft Alvarado, he's fine. He's going to benefit from all these guys out for New Orleans. He probably won't start, but he's going to get a decent amount of minutes just because they're lacking backcourt bodies. He's fine for cheap and at point guard. And then CJ McCollum, not as great of a play on FanDuel just because of the price tag and the scoring system. I still think like on a slate where we're getting these what should be really good cheap value plays, I think you can play him in cash games despite not projecting well. I was looking at what we have for his rates based on what he did last year. When you look at like post him getting acquired by New Orleans and taking Ingram off the court on court IQ, obviously Zion didn't play, so that's already factored in. We're a little more conservative than what he did. So I think if you want to be aggressive, you can take him up to like, I don't know, 40, 41 FanDuel points with the manual boost. So he's fine. I mean, he's point guard, shooting guard. I'll try to speed it up a little bit here, but I'm probably just going to, I'll keep it at shooting guard. You can also just go Booker there if you don't want to go McCollum. Yeah, then it's just these cheap guys from Los Angeles that I want to see who's starting. whoever's starting is going to project really well just because by default they're going to get better minutes. But even then, and I'll let TJ speak on this when we get them for tournament stuff, like even then, like a projection's a projection. Like there's so much uncertainty. You can just tell by the way I'm talking about. Like we just don't know. Like early in the season, they're just who knows what lose. Yeah, you never know. Let's see here. Let's go to power forward because I can only talk in circles so much about Clippers. Porzingis for sure. Honestly, and then then the one other one is basically who's going to start at power forward for the Clippers. Is it Covington or Batum? That's probably who I would be playing in your second power forward slot. And then center is somewhat of a discussion in the sense that you have two really good plays in Ayton and Joval. I would, even with the Clippers stuff getting shaken up even more, I probably wouldn't play Zubats and Cash just because you probably do need to spend up here. I would play one of Ayton or Joval at center. The projections say Ayton pretty clearly. I will just say I don't think it's as clear on Fanduel where the pricing is a little closer compared to DK or like $1,100 apart. I do not think it's as clear as our projections say. Like if and especially if you have the money, I would for sure play Joval over Ayton.
Okay, very good. All right, TJ, you're playing 150 here on FanDuel, trying to take down 100K. Got any strong stands or takes, guys you're not playing or guys you're all in on?
So very strongly on the Clippers, obviously. I'm building a rule in lineup HQ, and I will have bare minimum 2 of them in all of my lineups. I got 2 to 4 in all my lineups, and every other team on the board is just going to be limited to 3. Outside of the Clippers, I want to get to a lot of Suns, I want to get to a lot of Pelicans, and I want to get a lot of Luka Doncic. One of my favorite plays at the point guard position today is going to be Jose Alvarado. He's a guy that has always done incredibly well when he gets the minutes. And so if he starts, he's my favorite point guard outside of Luka. If he doesn't, I still think he's a great tournament play as well. And I'm also very interested in a guy like Steph Curry. Everybody's going to be playing Luka, and because of the value on the slate, Curry will get some ownership as well, but we talk about this kind of on every slate. He never projects that well because of the type of player he is, but he does still have an incredibly high ceiling. And so I love Curry and running it back with a mini game stack with 2 to 3 guys on Phoenix, like Booker, like Ayton, and then maybe even Mikal Bridges or Cameron Johnson as well. I'll have Luka in 80% of my lineups today. And then in terms of how I'm prioritizing the Clippers, it's Norman Powell number 1. And yes, I care about the starting lineup, but for tournaments, I honestly don't care all that much. I love Robert Covington. I love Nicholas Batum. Just if those guys are going to get 28 minutes at those prices, they should be able to put up really good scores, especially against a team like OKC. And those are guys who on FanDuel especially, you're really going to be loving the stocks from them. And I think this could end up being a very sloppy game, and they could end up racking a lot of points that way as well.
Okay. You want to talk big men at all? I feel like most of what you discussed here was guards and wings.
Yeah, so Porzingis, I'll probably end up being a little under the field just so I can have more late swappability later on in the slate. I love Jonas Valanciunas. I agree with Meansy that if I have the salary to pay up to him over Ayton, I would do that. But then I also think for tournaments, the 2 people I'm most interested in are going to be Zubats and Christian Wood for Dallas.
Very good. Okay, good stuff. TJ, anything you want to add there on FanDuel before we kick it over to DK?
No, don't think in particular. I really like the idea of building firmly around Luka Doncic and Clippers value, and then outside of that, just making a ton of game stacks, ton of 3-2 game stacks with different variations from the 4 games we have on the slate.
Okay, sounds good. Means let's talk some DK here. There are some pricing differences, so walk me through what you like.
And
Jackson, Powell.
Yeah,
there it is. Jackson, Powell, Terrence Mann, Nicholas Batum, and Ivica Zubats.
So we can all appease Blender's mind, and Coffee's projection will come down now. So he doesn't have to play a ton. He doesn't have to play a ton of Coffee, but he still can play a ton of Coffee because now he's not going to project as well as ownership will probably be.
Well, the problem is now I need someone else to plug in because I had a 3K guy. that was locked into that spot. So what do we do now?
Still play him. Coffee's awesome. Still play him.
Okay, all right. That works.
Batum's 3-2. Do you have the 200?
No. But okay.
Play Coffee. You played
So-
Boban last night. Just play Coffee.
Before we disappear from FanDuel, and this will help answering a bunch of questions that Roth is going to end up getting for FanDuel Cash, is the answer Robert Covington and DeAndre Ayton, or is it Nicholas Batum and Jonas Valanciunas?
That's a good question. I'm going to just double check. I would probably do the Batum starting. Yeah, I would do the Batum Joe Val if it's mine.
I think that makes sense too. I lean the same way.
Okay.
I mean, I just think there's more. I just like Joe Val more. But I will not say that on DK here in a second. So you want me to move DK, Roth?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Now I can be a little clearer since I have a starting lineup, but probably still not as clear. Man, I'm just looking at some of those price tags on these guys from just DK to FanDuel, and even like Man's 4K on DK, and he's like 3-something on FanDuel. Yeah, they're going to stand out more on DK or on FanDuel, but we'll talk about it. All right, so Man, I have McCollum tagged. Honestly, I think the smart thing to do now, which I'll probably do, is just, and I'm not. This has nothing to do with my affinity for McCollum as a play, but what I'll probably do once I pass it back over is I think you jam in Luka. Start with Luka, and then if you can get McCollum, you get McCollum. But like with the Clippers stuff, with taking out Kawhi now, there's just solid cheap value where Luka should be the guy you start with. So that's what I would do at point guard. I'll make those changes here in a second. Let me look at other because then I'm just going to do guards together. So I think you probably put Man in at shooting guard. I still really like Coffee. And then McCollum, you can put it like the guard slot if you want. Well, yeah, all this other stuff is just okay. Like I think it's pretty compact when it comes to guards. I think you do prioritize Luka, get CJ if you can, and then you're playing one of Coffee or Man at shooting guard.
And to be clear, there are two Mans, so you should probably.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I mean, the Trey Man. Yeah, Trey Man's. I'm not going to talk about Trey Man now that SJ's playing. So good point. I mean Terrence Man whenever I say Man because Trey Man's out of the discussion for cash games now with SJ back, but I appreciate that because I completely forgot about that. So that's basically it. Two expensive guys, two cheap ones, and then maybe throw Alvarado in the mix. But I don't think we need to throw a bunch of names around at the guard spots just because I think it's pretty straightforward what you're doing there. So small forward. Norm, I mean, I'll probably tag Norm when I switch these things up too. He gets boosted a little bit with no Kawhi. Obviously not as great of a play on DK as he is on FanDuel, but still probably the play. And then if you want to put in like Trey Murphy here at the forward slot, go for it. But Norm's for sure the guy here at small forward, so that makes that spot pretty easy. Power forward. Batum, now that he's starting, he's only 3-2. So like you start to see just kind of how this is all coming together a little bit with these Clippers guys. Let's see. Other power forward eligibility guys, I would say Bobby Kev and probably Najee Marshall, assuming he's in the starting lineup. That's to be determined. That's the Pistons starting lineup we just got. So, yeah, those are another handful of names. I don't think there's really anyone you're spinning up for in cash games at power forward. So then center. All right. So, I mean, I could be very much proven wrong on this, when the slate's over. But the $1,100 from Ayton to Joe Val is just – it's enough for me to make Ayton a priority. Like, even with all of these moving parts with the Clippers. I still think he's the guy. And like honestly, like you can see even Porzingis. We have Porzingis projecting even better than Joval. I would still play Joval over Porzingis in cash games if you were going that route. But all three of those centers are cash game viable, I think. And then two guys I already mentioned are here too, the Clippers guys. So Covington and Batum. I'll pass it back to you guys. I'm gonna make some changes to my tags.
Okay. Let's see. Anything here, DK? Are you playing DK? If you're playing 150 on FanDuel, just out of curiosity.
No, I'm personally not playing any DK, but I still kind of have run through my research for it, so I know who I'm liking. To me, I think the best thing to do for tournaments if you're running lots is to play as much Luka Doncic as possible, because to be honest, I think unless the ownerships are kind of wonky as they struggle to keep up with all this news, I honestly think he's going the most under-owned player on the slate. Like I'd have him in probably 80% of my lineups if I was running over there, if not more. Mm-hmm. Norman Powell, like in terms of good chalk, bad chalk, I think the Powell chalk is good chalk. I would definitely be looking to pivot more to somebody like Batum over Covington now, just because of that price difference. But I also I think most of the Clippers chalk on DraftKings is still fine. It's not chalk I'd necessarily be wanting to pivot off of. I still absolutely love players like Jose Alvarado. If we get Larry Nance in a good, if he ends up starting, or even if he doesn't, I really like Larry Nance for tournaments today. So those are some of the guys I'd be looking to pivot off of, but it's still the same strategy. It's not a lot of people in this first game stacking the other games and playing a lot of Clippers as value and building around Luka Doncic up top. My favorite spend up options that are somewhat contrarian are going to be Shai, SGA. I don't know how many people are going to get to him because of that out and then questionable all day. And then the other one is Steph Curry and kind of a mini game stack of that Phoenix and Golden State game as well.
Okay, very good. Means anything you want to add here, or you feel ready for some QQs? We still have like 12, 13 minutes. Okay, you're just silent. You're staring. You may be frozen. You may be muted. I don't know.
I'm muted. Okay. Sorry.
All right, it's fine.
I was just going to say I want to just look at FanDuel again real quick, just because I talked about it and we didn't have a starting lineup. Then we got the starting lineup. So I just real quick, just let me touch on like my favorites on FanDuel as far as prices. Obviously Powell, now Terrence Mann for sure over Coffee, Batum over Covington, especially at $800 cheaper. And then I still like Jackson still in the mix there too. And I went ahead and tagged Luka on FanDuel as well. So just want to give a little more clarity on that since I was a little wishy-washy.
Okay, excellent. Okay, let's take some QQs, guys. We've got 11 minutes left. I am pulling up the RG Discord right now, and that is where we will start with questions. If we catch up on all those, I'll jump on over to the YouTube chat. Okay, DKGPP, you want Dort or Draymond?
I'd go Draymond now that we got SGA in.
Okay. FanDuel GPP, coming right back to you here. McCollum or Booker?
McCollum.
Very good. DK Cash means, is 4 Clippers too many? We definitely
no.
Oh, okay. I was going to count them off, but we'll just no, it is not. F Primo, here's a good question. If I'm playing one lineup in FanDuel single entry, is it okay to fade Luka?
Unless it's a full game stack of something, like you're doing it for Steph and you got 3 Suns, something like that, then no, it's not. You just got to play him.
Okay. I keep ending up in this spot at my util where I've got like 83, 8,400 left, and there's no one. It's like the spot where everyone's out, like Zion, Beal. I guess I could play Beal, Kawhi, Ingram. Like, what do you do if you have that?
You already have McCollum? Are you on DK? Do you already have?
Yeah, I've got McCollum locked in.
And you're at 83?
I'm at 83, and it's like at least you would Cade, J Val, Zinger, Wood.
I play J Val.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you probably don't. You don't want 50 DK points. Is that not enough for you tonight?
No, I do. I love J Val, man. Every time I play that dude, he's like 20 and 20s. He's legit.
What are you complaining about then? Play.
Yeah, I don't know.
I agree. I agree. It's J Val, but I'll say if you can find $500 somewhere, I don't think SGA is a bad play there.
Okay. All right. I'll see if I can move some stuff. FanDuel GPP. All right. Now with some Clippers clarity, is it still good to fade the first game and just work with the other 3 games? Or now that we have that clarity, this is a good question. Now that we know what's happening, is there anything in that first game that you're interested in FanDuel GPP?
Still just Porzingis and then a sprinkle of Beal, Cunningham, and Kuzma for me. Outside of that, no, because we are still waiting for clarity on this New Orleans starting lineup, and that's going to be a pretty big deal against Dallas. So, no, I'm still limiting myself to maximum 1 from each team, and the only player I'm getting over 10% or over 15% will be Porzingis.
Okay, very good. Oh, let's see here. Bad Booby says FanDuel single entry SGA and Covington or Steph and Batum.
For me, that would depend on my lineup. If I got some Phoenix guys in there, I would go Steph and Batum. If I have 4 Clippers, something like that, then I would go SGA and Covington.
All right, nice. DKGPP, man. I mean, you guys are allowed to ask cash questions. Just FYI, Meansy sitting there.
Well.
It just means you went through it perfectly, Meansy. Everyone knows exactly what you're supposed to do.
No questions.
It's Orange Baby says DKGPP Kennard over Man.
I think that's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
However, I'd only do that if the rest of my lineup was pretty chalky. Otherwise, I would just roll with Man.
Okay. Can I play Dorian Finney-Smith because I think he's too cheap and I think he's going to play 38 minutes and I think he's going to do well?
That's a TJ question if I've ever heard one.
TJ?
I am not playing him in my 150 lineups.
What, in 150 lineups? How far off the board am I?
Last time you mentioned his name on a crunch time, you didn't play him and he scored like 49 DK points.
Ever since that night, I've now been pro Dorian Finney-Smith.
There we go.
I will not besmirch him any longer.
What I will say is after walk, I will make a lineup that has him. That's a full game stack from that game.
There you go. I like it. I approve of this. Let's see. DKGPP in a mini Sun stack is playing Cam Johnson and Bridges together. Positive, negative, or neutral correlation?
I think it's fine. I don't. You'd have to look at Court IQ to see like direct correlation stuff, but I don't think that's an issue to play both of them at all.
Okay, great. How many Clippers is too many Clippers in cash? There we go. Means we're just cutting right to the chase.
I would say 5 is too many. I mean, you can only play 4 on FanDuel, and then 5 would be too much for me on DK.
All right.
Insert meme. Insert GIF from Mean Girls. The limit does not exist.
Okay. Grimes says DK Cash means Zinger or Joval. This is.
Yeah, I'm gonna swerve off our projections. I'm going Joval on that one.
Yeah. They both seem pretty good. Phrase DK Cash 2v2 means Booker Marshall or J-Val Rocco.
I would go the second one, and it's definitely the second one if Najee's not starting.
All right, very good. DKGPP from B. Jackson Hayes. Is Jackson Hayes viable in a DKGPP?
I do have him in 1 of 150 lineups.
That means yes.
Two.
Okay, he is viable. FanDuel single entry here. TJ, you want Beal and Reggie Jackson or CP and Dinwiddie? P.S. I also have Luka and Porzingis in this lineup. So FanDuel single entry, Beal and Reggie Jackson or Chris Paul, who I also like, and Dinwiddie.
Probably the second one.
Okay, nice. Gamble says Najee and Curry versus Booker, Trey Murphy. We'll call it a GPP question.
Booker and Trey Murphy.
Very good. Steve O says, any thoughts on a low-owned pool party in a DK GPP? I love that dude. He's so good at basketball.
I have a small amount of him, but just Golden State is in a position where nothing is really changing for them other than some of these vets picking up a few more minutes. So Poole's not a target for me. I do have him in about 5% of lineups.
Very good. We've actually caught up on most of the Discord questions, so I'm scrolling on over to the YouTube chat. DK Cash means Bridges or Bojan?
Bridges.
Kanoa's dad says, can I get a John Wall breakdown? I'm intrigued.
He
TJ?
doesn't have a very high minutes cap, and so his ceiling just isn't really that high. He could produce very well in limited minutes. If he's going to get a bump, it could be in this game, but it's tough to play. It's tough to be confident with him until we see that. So I do think he could be a pretty good point per dollar play. I do think we could see 25 to 30 FanDuel DK points from John Wall today, but it's just if he's going to be capped at 25 minutes, I don't know if we can see 40 to 50 from John Wall today. And if we can't, I don't know if he can win a tournament. So I have him in a couple lineups just in case they unleash him for 28, but I don't think that's happening. So that's why it's only a couple.
Okay. Means you got something pulled up here?
Oh, I was just looking. I just pulled up while he was saying that. I just pulled up like the last game flow tracker for people to see like Clippers rotations and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking at Wall there. How many minutes did he get? 21? Is that
21? Yeah. And was on track to close, so it was on pace for what's that? 24 basically.
Yeah. Okay. DKGPP 3400 TJ. I need a forward, and I've already got Batum.
DK 3400 got a forward. Need a forward. Already got Batum. Throw one to Ameansy, and I'll have an answer for next.
Okay, I can do that. Ameansy. DKGPP Wiggy, Nance, Booker, Najee Marshall. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Wiggy, Nance, Booker, Najee Marshall.
And Marshall if he's starting.
I would do the first one. Like Wiggins has been awesome, and like no one's gonna play him. He's been dropping like 40, 45 every game, and no one's gonna play him.
Yeah, he's continuing what he did at the end of like last year in the postseason.
Yeah.
He was balling, and he's just still doing it.
He was legit their second best player in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
He's an all-star.
But it's like we used to laugh and joke, but legit now. All right, TJ, what did you have there at that forward spot?
I guess the answer is Najee Marshall. That's really the only option that you have. Like there is no other forwards 3,400 or less outside of Batum and Marshall.
Okay, great. FanDuel GPP, Beal or Booker? Good question.
Booker.
All right. DK single entry TJ, Powell and Nance or Trey Murphy and Isaiah Stewart?
Powell and Nance.
Jay Sams, what are your thoughts on SGA on FanDuel? Will he go under the radar? Yes. Or do you feel he will be an obvious bring back in Clippers loaded lineups? Great question. TJ, you like it?
I love it. I do think he is an obvious bring back, but I still don't think he's going to end up as high owned as he should be on this slate.
Okay, great. Achilles DK Cash means 3v3 coming your way. Murphy, Rocco, Bridges, or McCollum, Batum, Marshall?
Rocco, Bridges. I would do the second one.
Very nice. Freya's DK Cash means Rocco, McCullough. Yeah, or Marshall SGA. McCullough. Oh, he means McCollum.
Definitely the McCollum one.
Okay.
Not Todd McCullough. Not to be confused with Todd McCullough.
I don't know who that is. Who's Todd McCullough?
Just a big oaf who used to play at, I think he played like University of Washington, maybe. And the Sixers, he played
for the Sixers.
Yeah.
Good Canadian guy.
Oh, that's how
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. FanDuel, do you guys feel Batum will catch steam now that he's starting? And Rocco will go under-owned, so maybe he will be a better play.
Yes to that answer, and we got a Pelican starting lineup.
Okay, let's hear it.
Alvarado, McCollum, Najee, Murphy, and Jovel. So no Nance. So they went Alvarado and Najee.
Feeling pretty good about my 40% Alvarado right now.
Very nice.
So
and is that game to lock?
No, that game starts in 30 minutes, but I think Alvarado, let me see what we have his minutes at. His projections
Alvarado
creep up. Yeah, he's at 20. His projection's going to go up a little bit. He's a good play on FanDuel now. Yeah.
Yeah. Not DK, or he's a good play everywhere?
He's a little more expensive. He was one of like the fifth guy I mentioned of all the guards, so he's going to look good on DK too. Now that I think about it, yeah.
Okay, very good. We hit the lock here, so that is good work. I am going to jump on over, see if there's any. Oh yeah, Dean's pumped about your boy Alvarado. Any love for Nance tonight? No, we just found out he's not.
He is good per minute. He's like historically he's been good per minute. So I mean, I'll let TJ speak on tournaments, but I mean, it's easy to say historically. Like I don't know what he's. That's not necessarily means we can expect that tonight. I'll let TJ speak on it.
I do still have love for Nance today. I wouldn't be targeting him in a single entry, but I do have 20% Larry Nance in tournaments today, even though he is not starting. And I'm feeling real good about everything. The one thing I'm trying to figure out right now is how to get more Najee Marshall into my lineups.
Okay. Very nice.
And that does make that 3,400 or less. What forward do I use? That all of a sudden makes you feel really good about plugging in Najee Marshall there as well.
Okay. Let's see. Who will Bridges guard on Golden State? And then I will answer this question. Do you care?
No. I'll answer the second part first. No, I don't care. I would guess they have him chase Steph. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Is your food here, Roth?
Say what?
That
wasn't me. That was TJ.
Oh,
that was me. I'm
TJ,
muting myself.
Yeah, I figured.
No, my wife's home.
Yeah. This is the time. Everyone just starts coming home. Dogs start losing their minds.
I had the same thing happen too. Right when you said I heard Boogie, it was like 90 seconds after that. I had the same thing.
Yeah. Any Zubac thoughts on DK? Might look his way over Ayton. I love Zubac. I'm playing him everywhere, and maybe I'm wrong. Means.
Oh, I mean, I don't think he's a cash viable just because of how the other cheap stuff is at other positions, and center has Ayton, Zinger, and Joval.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just phenomenal tournament play because we have him at 15%. Like people are gonna for sure play Ayton, and then that leaves you one other spot for like a center only player. So I mean, he had like 46 in the first game of the season. Like,
yeah,
even if he doesn't play a ton of minutes, he can still get you like 40. If he gets his minutes spiked, he can get you 46 again or something. So I think great play.
Yeah, I like it as well. All right, so I need to get more Alvarado in my lineups, and then Marshall. That's the other guy. Yeah.
I would prioritize Alvarado. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. TJ, you're still muted with the doggos.
Oh, yeah. Prioritize Alvarado by quite a bit. Najee Marshall probably still will. He's starting, but he may not close. That may be Larry Nance there. So, yeah, I would prioritize Alvarado there. But I want more. Me personally, I want more than the 8% Najee Marshall I currently have.
Okay, well, I have 0, and I'm playing guys like Dorian Finney-Smith, so I do think I need to maybe make a little make a little tweak there. Okay, excellent stuff as always, gentlemen. So we are going to get out of here. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a thumbs up button right there. If you click it, it turns fun colors. I highly recommend you try it out to see what it's like. We are going to peace out of here. So for Means, for TJ, and for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes, guys, we appreciate you. We love you. We will catch you tomorrow. You have been crunched.